Hi, it's Anne Marina, licensed MFT. Wanted to talk today about ADHD and boredom at work, specifically at work, because I have a lot of clients that come to me and don't understand why one day they feel super productive and on the next day they're not at all. And so what is actually really going on there, right? So do you ever feel like you're like physically uncomfortable at work because you're so bored, you're understimulated, and then you probably end up doing things you probably shouldn't be doing because you're bored, so you try to get stimulation in some way. This isn't laziness, okay? It's just an intolerance to boredom. So there's a few things we can do about this, but what I want to actually get across first is that this is not laziness. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just your brain has a low tolerance for understimulation. So as an example, if you're in a job that is 9 to 5, you're in an office, it's a computer sitting behind a desk, there's meetings and boring tasks that you're doing, repetitive tasks, slow days, that can feel pretty tough for a lot of people with ADHD. Personally, I have worked corporate many years ago, 9 to 5 in an office, and I knew immediately I could not do that. It's just not how my brain's wired. Like, I would go crazy. So I ended up doing corporate outside sales, actually, in pharmaceuticals for a while, and that was helpful because I was outside. So I was moving around, everything was always different, I was engaging with people. That actually did help me a lot. So I mean, you can still have the 9 to 5, it just, you might explore other options. Now, for some people, this isn't gonna be an option, but it's something to think about. So your brain relies heavily on dopamine, right? That's what gets you motivated and engaged in doing the things that you need to do, that are boring, that are repetitive, that are slow. So it struggles to stay online. Your brain struggles to stay online if you don't have that constant engagement and interaction when you have ADHD. Other people, they don't necessarily need that. They don't have the dopamine issue going on, so this isn't as painful for them, okay? For our brains, it's uncomfortable, okay? It can feel kind of like you're restless, you're agitated, you're foggy, you're emotionally flat. And that's why you might procrastinate. And that's why you're gonna go in spurts. And that's why you scroll. That's why you snack. That's why you daydream. That's why you feel exhausted by simple work. So start questioning your competence. That's usually what happens too. People start questioning their competence or their career choice. And it's not necessarily a competence issue. It could be a career choice. I mean, if the career choice is really boring, that's an issue. But we have ways around that if there's no way out of that. So pushing through doesn't really work. If you're here, you've probably figured out that's not a strategy. Doesn't work. That just basically leads to more shutdown, avoidance, and then we're back to feeling guilty and shame again. And burnout. Burnout happens too. So here are some practical strategies. Get up and move around if you can. I love the standing desks. I love the treadmills. I personally can't use a walking treadmill when I'm doing session. I kind of wish I could. Every now and then I get a client who does phone calls because maybe they have ADHD or something else and they're doing phone calls. They like to walk and talk. And so then I'm like, okay, good. I can walk and talk, or I can go sit outside. And that is amazing. But for me, that's never always an option. So luckily for me, talking with people and hearing their stories is actually very stimulating for me. So I don't really find it hard to focus, but if I do, because of course that's going to come up here and there, I use fidget toys, not necessarily toys, but fidget things. I have like rocks. I have like these crystal rocks that I play with. Sometimes I just play with rubber band. There's a variety of, you can buy actual fidget toys. So there's that. Music, if you have the option, great idea, okay? Also, so that's the stimulation. You can add stimulation those ways. But if we create a sense of urgency, that's another way, like using timers, body doubling, making short deadlines for yourself. So that's another way. Also chunking tasks, chunk them into smaller things, and ways that you can have fast wins. Like a way to get myself to do these videos, which I've struggled with too, is I'll just batch a bunch in a row, right? I'll just, and I just like, go, like, just do it. You're gonna do this in 10 minutes, done, okay? I won't sit and overthink, because we can overthink. We tend to be perfectionists. We tend to be really critical of ourselves. We gotta just let it go. Just go, do the thing. And when I have the energy, go, okay? Change environments when possible. This is really good for my folks who are studying in school. I tell them actually studying at home is like the worst thing you can do, because you're going to procrastinate, and you have a lot of things you can procrastinate with. You can get distracted, right? And go clean your room. That's when you organize everything, or get on your phone or computer and just don't do what you're supposed to do. Go to a cafe, go to a bookstore, go to a library even. I mean, that is stimulating enough. Just seeing people, hearing chatter, music, maybe being able to get up and get a snack or go look at something after 40 minutes of doing work, that is super helpful. So most people that I know will find that they get way more done in 2 hours at a coffee shop or library than they do with 2 hours at home. So do that. And pair boring tasks with something rewarding, okay? So I can't think of an example of that right now, but try to think of something that's boring with something rewarding. So basically, I just want you guys to know that ADHD doesn't mean you can't work, okay? It means you need the right stimulation to stay engaged. And every day isn't gonna be the same, okay? Once you address boredom, then usually the focus follows, okay? So if work feels harder than it should, this could be why. You also may be in a job that's really stimulating and fun, and you don't struggle with that, and that's a win. Like I tell most of my clients who are looking at possible careers, really think about that before you get into something. And sometimes we don't really know, because it may seem exciting and then you get into the actual job and it's not. But try to do something that you really love and enjoy, so this isn't such a struggle. I do find the people that are the most successful in my practice and don't even need medication are the ones that are doing jobs that they love. Examples, I find these ones come up a lot. People that work in hospitals, ER, nurses, ER doctors, EMTs, paramedics, firefighters. So they're on the front lines, right? It's like every day is different. So they typically don't get bored at work. It's a hard job. It can be a stressful job. But again, these people perform well under that. So also creative jobs, they tend to do really well. So something to think about. And if you guys want to hear other topics, or you have other things you want me to cover, please post in the comments. I'd love to get ideas, and that'll get me also wanting to create more content. Thank you.